said that this 846 billion is what has been proposed to be borrowed. Up until the point that we borrow up until 9 trillion, that's where the breach is. But from what Treasury is sitting, they want now to tweak the law now from an aggregate number, 9 trillion, to some 55% threshold. And where the CS for Treasury will be going to explain to National Assembly where occasions where there's that breach of that 55% metric.
I think it's worthwhile to remind our viewers that if you read the draft Public Finance Management Regulations of 2022, there is not just the 55%, there's also a rider that the Treasury CS may approach Parliament and explain why there's necessity to breach. Now, I'm receiving a very interesting comment here that our conversation is extremely national focused. So can we talk a little bit about the devolved governments? Not a problem. Robert, let's start with this one. The issue of on-source revenue continues to challenge the devolved governments, majority of them, I should say. In your view, do you think there is scope for them to ramp up what they are collecting so that this issue of a reliance on the equitable share allocation, we can begin to wean ourselves away from it?
Well, Julian, it's a difficult question to answer, and for this reason. If you look at the constitutional underpinnings around public finance in this country, you've got the national government and then the devolved governments. And Article 209 of the Constitution provides the basis upon which the various levels of government will raise taxes. Now, if you look at the one for the county governments, it's a very narrow base of taxes. So you're talking about property taxes, entertainment taxes, and levies. Not much more, and that's the reason why you'll see some of these county governments trying to, like my home county at one point, they wanted to introduce a levy for slaughtering chicken. So, you ask yourself, how much money are you going to collect from this, and how effective that is. However, if you look at that budget, the estimates that have been were tabled yesterday, one of the things that government is doing is they want to support the county governments in terms of an integrated revenue management system. Now, why this for me is important is because for as long as you're able to support.
Robert, let me just hold you there. We can see Treasury CS Ukur Yatani arriving at the Parliament buildings. There is with the Finance and Planning Chairperson, that is Gladys Wanga. And we clearly now have a signal that shortly we shall be having the budget statement. You can see the famous briefcase there being held by the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Ukur Yatani. That is the man of the moment right now. Inside there we have an estimated 3.3 trillion shilling spending plan. And you can see he's raising it now for a bit of captions with by members of the press, rather. And this is the annual ritual, if I may call it. And there he is with his Chief Administrative Secretary, Mr. Ofuko, who has just walked away. We are now left there with the Treasury CS by himself with the briefcase. And shortly we shall definitely be getting details into the spending plan for the financial year 2022-23. That is the period running between July 2022 and June 30th, 2023. We can see the Finance and Planning Chairperson, Honorable Gladys Wanga, joining there for the shot. And clearly this is a moment we've all been waiting for. This budget cycle has been unlike many others. We can see the Principal Secretary for the National Treasury, that is PS Muya, joining the set there as well. That is the entire, not really the entire, but a good chunk of the team from the senior management of the National Treasury. They are joining Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani. The PS also for State Department for Planning has joined for the photo shoot as well. And definitely the budget is just about to be delivered, because from here the Treasury CS should be making his way to the chamber, where then he shall proceed to the Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya has also joined. That is Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge. He is also now there for the photo opportunity ahead of the tabling of the budget. Sorry for the disturbance there in terms of the stability of the camera. It's in an effort to bring you the best shot of this moment. There we have the entire delegation. We can see CS Ukur Yatani tabling yet another budget. This is the Jubilee government's, and he's there with the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, that is Honorable Kanini Kega. Still some realignments being made there. We are right at the heart of the moment in Parliament buildings. So anytime from now, we expect that we shall be getting the budget speech for financial year 2022-2023. Remember, this expenditure plan is being tabled earlier than usual, and that's because of the fact that we have the election in August, and therefore there was need to expedite the parliamentary exercise of passing the expenditure for the next financial year to allow the drawdowns to happen as they should be required without any interruption which might not have been foreseen. And now the Treasury CS left there by himself for one final shot maybe before he proceeds to the chamber and to deliver the budget speech. Remember, this budget has a projected deficit of 846 billion shillings, and that's a decline from last year, which was at about 1.1 trillion shillings. Yes, 1.1 trillion shillings. So the agenda of the fiscal consolidation is clearly being reflected in efforts of trying to tame the budget itself. I'm not sure I've seen any chairperson of any National Assembly committee holding that briefcase before. Maybe this is a farewell signal from CS, but we don't know. Typically, we've only seen the cabinet secretary themselves holding it. And that's the man of the moment, Treasury CS, Ukur Yatani, with the governor of the Central Bank of Kenya, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, holding that briefcase which has the spending plan, which has many of us guessing because, largely because we haven't seen the finance bill. So we are not sure as to what to anticipate regarding taxation measures which will be effected in the next financial year. Last year, we saw a number of proposals, including minimum tax, which has been put on hold by the High Court, as well as the digital services tax, which took effect, I think, at the start of 2021. So there he is walking into the chamber. We shall continue to keep an eye on that.